Hey everyone, Jonathan here again. It was another late night last night with Duke Nukem Forever. This time, however, with the full game. For me, it unlocked about 11 p.m. Central Time. I guess that'd be midnight Eastern Time. Got it set up, got it playing, and I didn't get into it until around midnight. Unfortunately, had to get up early, so I didn't really get that deep into the game. For those who've played it, and since I'm an American, I'm behind the rest of the world, so that's pretty much everyone. I'm not too far past the mothership battle, the first mothership battle. Still making my way through the casino and that part of the game. So I'm very early on, and I'm the type of guy that likes to stop and look at everything, play all the little mini games and whatnot. So I'm taking my time through it, and in fact, one of the reasons I'm not any further than I am is because I spent an ungodly amount of time with a little pool mini game right as you begin the game. Had a lot of fun with that. Um, since I did the review of the demo, I wanted to come back and do a follow up review on the game itself. And I'm relieved to say that the demo was a very, very bad demo. I was right when I talked about how the demo seemed to skip a lot of levels. I'm nowhere near, after an hour of gameplay, I'm nowhere near where the demo was. The second level of the demo, rather. The first level of the demo is the first level of the game. The second level of the demo is obviously much, much further into the game. And that, I think, created a lot of my confusion, created a lot of the problems with it. It was a very poorly designed demo in that regard. There was no continuity to it. And you're kind of, after that first very simple, very basic level, thrown to the wolves in a much further down level. And to make matters worse with the demo, well, one of the things in the game is if you play like the pinball game and the pool game and you lift weights and do all these little odds and ends that are kind of cool in the game, the more stuff you interact with, basically, the more ego you build, I mean, the more life you get. And so, as you're going through the game, your ego bar is getting longer and longer and longer, able to take more and more damage without dying. The demo, it seemed, did not give me an extension on the ego bar for the idea that I would have done all these interactions through the entire game. So, in hindsight, the difficulty of that one section of the demo where I got stuck may have been largely due to the fact I'd had no chance to grow my life bar over the course of the game like I do now. But anyways, I've been reading the reviews of DNF, and they've been extremely negative. There have been a lot of haters on this game, and it's not that bad. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my hour and a half or so of playtime. I'm really looking forward to going home and continuing it. I'm really enjoying the game, in spite of what all the haters are saying out there, and it's just driving me a little crazy because I don't see what's so god-awful about this game. Now, I reiterate my previous complaints. It doesn't feel like a Duke Nukem game. You know, you can only carry two guns, you have the regenerating life. I admit all this openly. However, I have to say, watching that show Extra Credits on The Escapist, I understand why designers prefer regenerating life, and that's because if you don't have regenerating life, you have to have rooms where they can pick up tons of med kits and so forth before going into boss battles. Regenerating life is a way to know exactly, or almost exactly, how much life the player has at any point in the game. And that way you don't have situations like you frequently had in Half-Life 1, especially it seemed, where you were kind of stuck because you had no life and you had saved and you had a upcoming part of the game where there was no life coming and it was very difficult, and you pretty much had to keep playing over and over and over and dying over and over and over again to beat it. So I understand why game designers have gone with that system. I understand less about the two guns, though. That's very frustrating for me. You're trading realism, in a Duke Nukem game, and that's just stupid. It's a Duke Nukem game. It's not meant to be realistic at all. That's the whole point. And I always liked in Duke Nukem 3D having all those guns in play and being able just to kind of choose which gun solved the problem. Is it the time for the Ripper? Is it the shotgun? Ooh, maybe the shrink ray. It's whatever gun is right for the situation. Whatever I have the ammo for, the enemy type, you pick the weapon that solves the problem, and I like that. But anyways, it's not that bad of a game. I admit the graphics are a little bit on the blah side. I'm not terribly enthused about them, but the gameplay's fun. The Duke Nukem comments are not as repetitive as they were in the demo, And the gameplay is actually extremely varied. I like the little subsequence they did with the RC car. Not the one where you're driving around in the RC car, we're getting to that in a minute, but the one where you're actually using an imaginary joystick and operating a RC car in a separate room. That was amusing. But I will say I agree with the other developers that the car segments in the game aren't really up to code, and they really feel forced because they just don't serve any purpose in the gameplay. You play Duke Nukem for a good FPS to shoot things and to have a lot of fun, you know, being the badass Duke, not driving a car around the various scenes. It's entertaining for a few moments, but it loses its luster really quickly, and the cars, it seem, all handle like dirt, so that's a little frustrating. But as far as having fun with the game, I'm having a blast. I'm not really sure what all the hatred is, other than the fact that people are disappointed that maybe this doesn't feel like a Duke game. If anyone is going to get bitter about that, I would have thought it'd be me with my history of Duke Nukem 3D, and you can go back to my previous review and see that. See how much Duke Nukem 3D meant to me. I admit I'm upset about that, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying this game, seeing what it is, and having fun with it. Yes, it's imperfect. Yes, it doesn't necessarily feel like a Duke Nukem game in a lot of places, but it's still fun, it's still enjoyable, and frankly, I don't think it's nearly as bad as most people are making it out to be. I think there's a little need for balance in these reviews. So, that's just my quick thought here. I'll do another one as I get a little further into the game, see if my, I would say, lukewarm to good opinion of the game holds. But until then, Jonathan Bailey, signing off.